Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast. I'm here as your host, Joseph, here with Zach. How you doing today?
Dude, man, things are great. Just I made another trade in a fantasy league, so
Zach, Zach,
things are going
Zach is
great
a
for me. I'm a
he's a trade
I'm a,
addict.
I'm a trade addict.
I'm
Always trying to see.
and I'm sorry. I guess I should introduce you as co-host, not host, not just as a guest or Zach. With a co-host on the stamp. So correct. So let me correct my first introduction. Uh, this is Zach, co-host of Forgotten Athlete Podcast. So yeah, Zach, I guess before we get into the podcast talk, can you kind of talk to the viewers about what made you kind of stick to podcasting and going through with it?
Yeah, what? Honestly, I have some takes, and I feel like there's stuff out there that I need some history on, right? So I can pull up and say I did this, I said this, um, like Kenny Pickett's trash. I've been saying Kenny Pickett was going to be trash, and then he still got drafted the first round, and we see how that played out. I just want the proof. So, and then also where I'm wrong too. I think it's cool too is to have some type of evidence where it's a take that I had or opinion I had, and then it just was so bad, like the D'Amico Ryan's being the worst coaching hire, and then the Texans finishing at the bottom. So
Is there anything better than what's the word? I guess self-validation. All right, I think that's one of the words to describe how podcasts are. Kind of helps you validate, your opinion, whether you're wrong or right. All right, cool. Let's get into the Joe Burrow. I'm gonna move my tab over to my laptop. So do you want to kick this off actually? Second?
So basically, I just wanted to start off today's conversation with the big news for me in sports. As everyone sees, my background, Chiefs fan, bandwagon fan. I'm send the write in the comment section if you have thoughts or opinions on my bandwagonism. Um, but yeah, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, he went on a radio show today, and he detailed that the Bengals are actually built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And I have such why do they do it, Joseph? Why do they do it? Why must you give the king ammunition? Like I'm sure Mahomes was sitting at home just relaxing. And then he saw that, and now he's like, sorry, gotta go train, gotta go throw with my guys that are left because Rasheed Rice is in trouble. It's just that little more motivation
Yeah.
that you just give the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if that's going to work out well. Joe Burrow, are you built to um, play 17 games? I don't know, man. You're hurt every time you every season.
Has he played a
So
full calendar year this over?
I don't know. I can give him the. I'm sure he has
Let's
the
see.
year the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
right
remember
there
him.
with
I
you.
remember him hurt more than healthy. And yeah, he has a winning record versus Mahomes, 3-1, straight up, right? So but at the same time, I don't think your past trend has anything to do with the future games.
Yeah, I guess, and that brings me to another point that I wanted to kind of talk about. I didn't expect to talk about it today, but I guess we're on the same page. Is is QB wins, are they considered team wins or quarterback wins? Because I think that's where my
Mm-hmm.
discrepancy comes in. Because a lot of, I mean, with Joe Burrow specifically, beating Mahomes, having the winning record over Mahomes, obviously, they both have won in the playoffs against each other. They both have. I mean, I guess Mahomes has never beaten him in the regular season. To my knowledge, has he? Did he? They didn't win this year, did they? When he came back,
No, the
the Bengals won, right?
versus
In
the
the regular
Bengals, they didn't.
season.
The Burrow got them right early on.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess everything from that standpoint, I just don't. I'm just trying to figure out where Barrel, where the Bengals
Or no,
see where they're
yeah,
at. I just don't understand where the Bengals see where they are at because I get they went to the Super Bowl, but honestly, like I think I've been saying this too since last year. This was more of a
I'm
prove
thinking
year.
Joseph.
This is 2 years
I'm
ago.
thinking 2 years ago
Okay.
that game that Burrow beat him
Yeah.
early in the season. They played this year, but he was hurt.
Yeah, but he didn't play. Okay, yeah, and the Chiefs did win this year. Okay, but anyways, I just feel as if Burrow is leading by example of what the Bengals do. They just talk. A lot of their players talk, and they back it up to their point. Like Jamar Chase backs it up. Burrow, to his point, he backs it up. But we really haven't seen them. Like they have a top 10 pick this year, top 15 pick this year, and we're gonna see what they're gonna do with that pick. But I just feel as if the Bengals are kind of in limbo land to me. I don't know. Like I would not be surprised if they win 5 games next year. I also wouldn't be surprised if they win 11 games next year.
I think with Burrow, you always have a chance because I think he is really good um, at managing the game. I don't think he's going to throw like first game versus Steelers last year. He threw like 4 or 5 interceptions. That's not normal, right? He's someone who doesn't turn over the ball,
Yeah,
and he has his team always in the game to win. So I understand that he's super good at football. My only thing is since they named it Burrowhead, right? They haven't really done too much.
yeah.
They lost
That's
that
my biggest thing
Burrowhead,
with them.
and then this coming in season, there was a lot of noise with T. Higgins. Are they going to trade him? Or are they going to keep him? They ended up keeping him, and the first week he had a ton of targets, no catch, like not a lot of catches, and then the offense was slow again to just to get going, and then Burrow ended up getting hurt. Browning ended up playing really good. I think they saw some great things out of him. But man, it's just you know me. I'm not a guy who likes a lot of offseason. I was even upset with Travis Kelce during this season for the Chiefs because I thought he was bringing a lot of off the field. I'll say distractions, but they still got a Super Bowl out of it. It's just um, someone that I guess admired growing up was like Tom Brady in this space, the NFL, and I don't think he would ever give out like this bulletin board material. They didn't really leak a lot of conversations to the public. I know he dated Giselle, and he was
Yeah,
Tom Brady. I get that, but
but he was always laser
still,
focused to football.
it was always about football.
Yeah,
So I guess that's the biggest difference. But this is the new age, right? You have a lot of social media. I mean, at sometime during this podcast, you're going to tell people where to, get the video, share your Twitter link or whatever. Um, so I understand it's a whole totally different world than it was back when Brady was doing his thing.
yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, this Bengals team, and I'm reading some of Joe Burrow's quotes that he said in this article that you were talking about. And one of the things he said was that we need the guys that we draft to come in and be productive and take on the leadership role that we've lost the past couple of years. And we need to bring in the right pieces this offseason too, whether it's the draft or free agency. So I think he even knows to an extent that like our team is not good enough if I'm not leading the team on my back pretty much. But that's what Joe Burrow does when they do come back and win those games, and when they do win games in terms of what you're saying, like them managing games effectively and winning games. But I do think they're a Super Bowl contender. Like don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between being a bona fide Super Bowl contender and then being on that that seventh,
You know,
8 team that could win it. And I think that they're on that. They're on the outside looking in of the top 4 or 3 contenders of the Super Bowl next year.
yeah. Another thing I wanted to add too, and like their defense is pretty good, right? Too. So
Yeah,
I mean, they have that going.
they have
Jamar
been
Chase
losing
is
a
another
lot of
guy.
they have been losing a
Can
lot
we
of different things. But go ahead, Tim.
can we label Jamar Chase as injury prone, or is it too early?
No, he's not injury prone. I think
If
he's
he
had some bad
towards
luck.
towards the end
I
of the
think.
seasons, the last couple of years, he hasn't played.
I think
I think
that's
there's something to
more. I
that.
think that's more of them preserving them for playoffs. Honestly, I really do. I think they preserve themselves for playoffs. And I think a lot of these teams are trying to do the same thing. Like I just do. Like
Well, this year he wasn't even in the playoffs and got hurt.
yeah, I guess that's
Last
true.
year they
The year
needed
before,
every
yeah.
win they could because they started slow and he got hurt.
But you don't think teams are
So
trying to kind of manipulate this 17 game schedule and trying to make it so
if
they
you're if
don't
you're
they don't
if
have to
you're
get
if the
injured
Bengals had a
or
top seed, I could see
yeah.
that, but they're fighting for a playoff berth.
Yeah, last year, yeah. I get what you're saying. All right, let's move. Do you want to discuss anything else on the topic, or do we want to move to the
No,
NFC
let's move to the
North.
next one. The NFC North draft.
All right, perfect. Let's go into the NFC North. So today division that we're going to be breaking down is the NFC North. Obviously this division was won last year by the Lions, their first NFC divisional title, I believe. I don't know. I don't want to quote it, but I'm pretty sure it's been about 40, 50 years since they won, maybe 30 years.
Nah,
It was a
nah.
long
I
time.
think they had
Maybe
to have in the '90s with
okay.
Barry Sanders. No.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's Zach is gonna fact check that, but in the meantime, I'll do the little breakdown. We'll have the Bears. We'll discuss the Bears because they have the first overall pick and they have the number 9 pick for their own pick. Then we'll talk about the Vikings. Then we'll go to the Packers. Then we'll go to the Lions. We're probably gonna we're not probably we're only gonna do the first round pick just because there's about 6 first round picks between these 4 teams. Just because the Vikings and the Bears have 2 firsts. And then the Packers have a first, and as well as the Lions having the first. So we're only going to do the first round. Second round, I think for the most part, for these teams will just be about bulking up their team in terms of getting it more depth. But I think this is going to be one of the best divisions in football next year. And it's crazy to say this because this was the division that the Packers had ran pretty much for 2 decades, maybe even longer than that. Maybe even 3 decades,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even 4 decades, honestly,
I mean,
3.5 decades.
they went to the Super Bowl in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
They won back. They
I guess the
they went back
Bears
to
a little
back. They
bit.
won one.
Yeah, I guess the Bears went to the Super
But
Bowl, during the Urlacher years, but I mean this division has pretty much been ran by the Packers for the most part. If you look at how
yeah,
many
I mean, they
division
went
titles they won.
two two Hall of Famers back to back, and then Jordan Love started off a little shaky, but towards the end of the year, I think he really came alive and took more of an ownership of the offense. I saw
Yeah.
him throwing a lot more downfield earlier this season. It was kind of disgusting. He
Yeah.
ran a lot of
And
screens.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Um,
that. Let's
all
let's
right, so yeah,
let's talk about the Bears first because they're first on our
let's do it.
radar. And we've been talking about the Bears a lot just because of Caleb Williams hype. But obviously we're not even gonna try to make this difficult. We're just gonna tell you the Bears are taking Caleb Williams, right? So I guess we can just start there. How does Caleb Williams help their team right now?
Well, I think the great thing is right about the NFL it gives teams hope, and I think the Bears now have the most hope with any number one pick team that I can think of that comes to memory with Caleb
I'm
because the
trying to
ceiling
think.
is so high.
I'm trying to
Like
think.
I
Yeah.
can't name a time when the number one pick like it's probably
I mean,
Andrew Luck
I
or
remember the
maybe
yeah.
Trevor, maybe Trevor,
I was gonna say Trevor, but Andrew Luck
but
is
I still don't feel the
probably
hype was like this.
Andrew
I feel
Trevor
like
Lawrence
Andrew
kind of
Luck.
killed his stock a little bit because he kept on downplaying
Well,
football. Andrew
even
Luck
the
was
hype, yeah,
yeah. I mean,
but
Michael Vick is the only person probably that I mean, obviously, there's been other, but I'm talking about that I can remember just watching and like seeing how Michael Vick like rejuvenated the Atlanta economy in terms of just his 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 atmosphere that he was creating when he was before he was drafted. I'm talking about. We're talking about the hype, right? I can't really think of any other player that for number one pick. We're talking about
yeah.
number one overall pick, people. So I mean,
I think for me,
yeah,
the only word that I have with this is the
the history.
no, not the history. It's with with Caleb himself. He does some kind of questionable. He makes some questionable decisions with
On the field or off the field. Sorry.
off the field, off
Okay.
the field. So I just don't know with Cam Newton talked about this on Shannon Sharp's podcast.
I haven't listened to it yet. I need
Um,
to.
about a young guy going in at 21, 22 years old, and you have 35, 33, 30-year-old men looking at you to lead them because of the position you are a quarterback. And it was a challenge for Cam because he had to answer guys like Thomas Davis, Steve Smith,
Yeah.
like older veterans, right? And then now he's supposed to be the guy that can come in and be their hero, right? And Caleb has the same thing. Um, keep in mind, I like the comparison between Cam Newton and Caleb and their personalities because they both do some very questionable things as far as older people looking down. Like, what is that? But there's definitely like that generation gap. totally understand. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see can Caleb, thrive with the veterans like Keenan Allen on the team. I think he'll be fine. I do, but that's my only worry with Caleb. I think he's going to be at least a marginal player like Trevor Lawrence. I don't think you can. I don't think you can say he's going to be any worse, Trevor. But I don't think he can reach Mahomes. I think that's too much.
Yeah,
Too much pressure.
yeah, I definitely, agree in terms of the pressure that's on him and whether he will live up to it. You don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing about
Yeah.
drafting. You don't know about any of these guys. I mean, people thought Zach Wilson was going to be the Johnny Unitas, and
Yeah. I
he
was in
turned
the
out to
camp until he
be.
went to the Jets.
I'm trying to.
He was my favorite quarterback in that draft.
Yeah,
And then once I saw the Jets wanted him, I was out.
yeah, he turned out to be
Like I just don't
Johnny
trust.
Bravo. I mean, went from Johnny Unitas to
Oh,
Johnny Bravo. I mean, it's just a
yeah.
matter of just things can change on you.
Fits matter, man. Like where you
Yeah,
go,
and that's what I was gonna
that
say.
that matters.
That matters. And I think before this off season would begin, I would have been in the same position as you. Before, like at the end of the season, I'm like, yeah, the Bears should just stay with Fields and not even try to draft the quarterback, not even try to draft Caleb Williams. After this off season, seeing the players that they got, seeing that not only did they bring in guys who are elite at their level or elite at their position, but also guys who know how to win. I think that says a lot about what they think of where their team is at right now. And I think their team right now is a quarterback away from at least competing to win a division. Because last year, I believe they won 6 or maybe 7 games last year.
I think there were 7 wins.
Yeah. And that was with, I can't even remember the guy's name that was playing. Not Justin Fields, but what was that guy's name?
Oh,
The dude from like D3,
wasn't it Badgett?
Ty Badgett or something like that.
Was it
No, that's
Badgett,
not
right?
Ty Badgett. That sounds like a kicker's name. Maybe it wasn't, but it
Oh,
just sounds like
who was it? Oh, I forgot the Bears
I don't know.
quarterback. Anyway, whoever it
Maybe it
was.
was Badgett. But anyways, I mean, sorry if you're listening to this. We apologize, but we just can't remember your name. But you were a great quarterback.
Yeah,
And
Badgett.
Badgett. Okay, yeah. So Badgett, Tim Badgett, Tom Badgett, something like that.
Tyson.
Tyson. Okay. All right. So yeah, pretty much with him, they won. I think they were like 2-3 or something like that with them, 2-4. But I brought that up to say this. If they had a comparable quarterback, and Justin Fields, for the most part, was not comparable, they would have won 9, 10 games last year. They just would have. But I will say this. Coaching matters. And that's what you're talking about with Fitz. A lot of the games last year, the Bears should have won, but it was bad coaching decisions that made them lose the game. Like I remember this game just vividly, the Buccaneers game. And then where they lost against the Buccaneers. And then there was another game where they had the lead. I think it was against the Broncos. They could have kicked the field goal, but they went for it on 4th and 1. And that's just 2 games right there. So Caleb Williams can't fix that for you. Now, will he get that first down on 3rd down instead of having you to go for it on 4th down? Possibly. But the coaching matters in the NFL. It just does. We've seen it all the time where great players to go to bad situations where there's no coaching, there's no culture, and they just fail. And at the quarterback position, there needs to be a great relationship between the quarterback and the coach. And we even have seen disruptive situations with Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. That is a perfect example of having a bad relationship, but at the same point, at the same token, having somewhat of a communication understanding and a trust factor to let your quarterback go out there and win your games, and it led them to a playoff appearance. One of those years that Kingsbury was there. So I think at this level, in terms of if I'm answering the question, like saying like, how does this fit him? I don't have an answer for you right now because I don't know how they're gonna fit right now. Like I just can't tell you.
Oh, where
And
does? Okay, let's go to. They're the next pick too, right? 9.
yeah, number 9. So
So
is
who are you
number
giving them at
9?
9?
Yeah. So this is where I think that they should not trade this pick, as everyone keeps on telling them. I think this is another pick for you to continue to build around Caleb Williams. And I think they need to go with Ndunze or a receiver that's there at that position. because the more talent you have in that offense, the better. And I watched the pivot episode with Nduze this morning while I was working out, and Nduze said that he tries to model his game after like Keenan Allen, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and we know we talked about it already a couple of episodes ago. Keenan Allen's not going to play 16 games. He may not even play 12 games. So you're going to need a receiver that you can depend on. I know we're not even talking about DJ Moore, but DJ Moore to me is not the same caliber receiver as a Keenan Allen or a possession receiver, I guess. What do you think they do at number 9?
Yeah, I think so. I think the reason why people are saying, "Hey, trade down," is if you look, they have the number 1 pick, the number 9 pick, pick 75, and then pick 122. They don't have a lot of draft capital here, so they're going to really have to hit on all 4, which is possible. But I think the more darts you can throw at the board, the better chance you have at one of those guys hitting, right?
Can I say that real quick? Lions last year. That was a lot of people's worry about the Lions last year. Not have a lot of draft capital. They had one of the best draft classes just off of the first 3 picks.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. I'm sorry, but go ahead, continue your point.
No, because I think that's the thing, right? But the Lions, who did they get last year in the draft? They got
Jack Campbell, they got Laporta, and they got Gibbs. So
that's the thing, right? And if they can hit, I mean, I say go for it. But
you're saying draft down.
If Odunze's there, I think it'd be a cool fit, right? I think this is one of the tougher ones.
Yeah. Well, it is because this is probably the toughest pick. That's why I think Ryan Poles, I don't know if you've seen, but he's breaking up like two different departments or two different teams to decide what to do with this pick, and they're going to go with the best option that is presented to them. I don't know if you read it. I don't know if you read that, but
yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, Ryan Poles. So he is breaking up the scout department, and he's breaking up. He's not deciding this pick. He's deciding between 2 different teams. And Middlecoff was talking about John Middlecoff on 3 and Out podcast. He was talking about he was all like, this is something that is really cool because he used to be a scout, and he's all like, it's very it's a good thing to do this because you give people the opportunity to show their skills and show their assets and show how they matter to the team, opposed to just, going out and sending a guy to Wyoming to scout, Josh Allen, So, but I agree. This is probably the toughest choice because you don't. Okay, let me ask you this: did the Lions being too top heavy last year affect their chances of winning games or even progressing past to the NFC Championship?
No, I really think Lions maxed out on.
I do too. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the interesting thing about the Bears because this draft is really they better hope Justin Fields is turn into something. A, and B, to that point, you don't want Justin to be better than Caleb. That might push you to draft another receiver so you can get him all the weapons he can. Keenan Allen's contract's up at the end of the year too. I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
So they do need that wide receiver position filled. So if Odunze's there, I can see them taking him. If he's not, I don't know if he reached for another receiver in the top 10.
No.
If you want to give him one,
if Odunze's
I think
gone,
that would be the automatic trade down.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think they need defense. They have enough power on defense. I think they have.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get another pass rusher, but I think Latu. I think you look at him. You just paid your corner,
and you just paid Sweat too. I mean, you just got Sweat for a 2nd round pick. Pretty much.
I don't think you never have enough pass
rushers. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so that's my thing.
Yeah. I think this league is becoming a quarterback driven league to me, and this is where I come from.
And I strongly disagree because if this is a quarterback league, Purdy got to the Super Bowl. Before that, Jalen Hurts got there.
Okay,
These are excellent rosters. These guys weren't the
the building block,
they
yeah.
weren't like they were somebody that was on good roster. The Lions with Goff. Goff doesn't have to, like you're saying, hey, did they have a good draft? No, they maxed out what they could do, make it to the NFC title game. The Bucks, you saw the Bucks. Baker Mayfield was doing things in the playoffs. Like so, I strongly, I mean, Mahomes is great. Don't get me wrong, but and but I think there's other ways to win Super Bowl versus just getting a quarterback and hoping that he can carry us to the next level.
Yeah, but I mean, can you and I hate to have this because I feel like we have this conversation every single time we talk about Caleb Williams. But
Because I
like
think, well,
because
with the quarterback position is interesting because the next pick is the Minnesota Vikings at
yeah.
11.
Well, they have 3 and 11, right?
The Lions, oh, sorry, the Vikings.
Yeah.
The Vikings have 11 and 23 or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. They have 11 and 23. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm under. Yeah, because they're probably gonna. So I have them trading up. So I guess we can go to the Vikings because they need a quarterback.
let's do it.
So this quarterback conversation is gonna be throughout this division until we get to Jordan Love and the Lions. But with the Vikings, I'm assuming they're gonna use those 2 picks, if not one of them, to move up to the top 3 pick to get to get McCarthy or Jaden Daniels. I don't know. You don't think so? That's what I had them doing.
I don't think you can because I don't think 11 and 23 is going to get you into the top 5.
Do you think the
I
Vikings
think they're going to
are?
need 3 or 4 first. And if you do that, you won't have a draft pick until 2025 in the 3rd round. And there's
So
no way a team is going to do that.
yeah, this is not the NBA. They're not the Lakers.
This isn't Madden. This is
Oh
real. This is
no,
real.
the
Like,
Lakers did that for Anthony Davis.
oh, you can do that in basketball, and you can do that on Madden.
Yeah.
And then, but in real life, I don't think you can say, you're going to take our first round pick.
So
We already traded our 2nd round pick.
yeah,
Um,
is Penix their
because
guy?
even in this draft, like Joseph, if they trade up, yeah, they'll get a top. I won't put a number. I'll just say top 5.
Mhm.
But the next pick won't come until 108.
Yeah, that's a
Like I think
lot
these
of
guys. I think
misses could happen.
yeah, and I don't know if they're just they lost a lot of pieces. So I don't know if they're a quarterback away.
Yeah, I don't think they're quarterback away either. This is a tough one because I like Justin Jefferson, but he's just at the wrong team. I think this team is far from a quarterback away. I think one of the things about this team that I'm noticing just as I'm looking at through the roster is that they have 0 depth at all. Like no linemen. They lost Daniel Hunter. I mean, I
You know what
don't
they could do?
what
I'm about to get
what it-
crazy right now. Audience, get ready. Crazy. If I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I get out my phone call, or get on my phone, and I dial Tom Brady. I want Tom Brady.
to come be your
I
quarterback.
think that be my quarterback, Tom. Be my
Wow.
quarterback. Throw to Justin Jefferson. Throw to Jordan Addison. Like throw to TJ Hawkinson. Like run like hand off to Green what's his name for the Packers? Jones, Aaron Jones.
Jones.
Like I think that's the only thing the Vikings can do that will make me believe that they can win the Super Bowl. Because outside of that, I don't think they can do it. I know they need a quarterback, Joseph, but I don't think they can risk trading up for one. I think they're gonna have to. I would wait and sit for it personally, but then everyone's gone. Now you're reaching for a quarterback like Bo Nix,
Tom
Michael
Brady, would
Penix.
Tom Brady come back though to a
Right?
bad offensive line that got Kirk Cousins Achilles hurt?
No, their offensive line's good. They have one of the better offensive lines. They have one of the best left tackles. They have O'Neal right tackle. Like they have some pieces, Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that's the only
Let's talk about this then. If
because he said you saw what he said, right? He would
I
come
did.
out of retirement for a contending team. This man, if he has that itch to play, I would send him. Justin Jefferson when he made that crazy throw, that crazy catch,
Pitch.
I would be like, I'd like come play with him.
All right, screw it. Let's just do
Like,
this.
come
Let's
play
do
with
this.
him.
What if the Vikings
What
get
you got?
Tom Brady? What do they do at pick 11?
Oh my gosh! You know how much excitement in the building would happen
Yeah.
because now this changes things because now Joseph, they're picking at 11. I'm looking now at Brock Bowers. I want to see Brock Bowers. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
This man could
Okay,
possibly
I
throw
see
to
what you're
T.J.
saying.
Hawkinson,
Okay. I'm
Brock
with you.
Bowers,
I'm riding with you.
Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson.
I'm riding with
You
you.
want to improve your offensive line? There's going to be offensive line available there for you.
I'm riding with
Like
you.
that. But if you that's a team when you're looking, you're like, I'm just saying, the Kansas City Chiefs are looking like crap.
I'm riding with you here. Okay.
Crap. Every team in the NFC, including the 49ers, like all
And
of
then
a sudden, I think that'd be huge.
and
I
then
want to
pick
see it happen.
and then pick 23, you draft the quarterback.
You could
Right?
potentially draft one of those
Michael
quarterbacks,
Penix
right? And have him
maybe
sit behind Tom.
or Bo Nix. Someone that can
He's
someone that
almost
can
30.
sit.
They're both old.
I mean, they're both
Bo
old,
Nix and Michael Penix are both old.
but look at it like this.
I get your
If
point.
I'm a GM, I'm saying, oh wait, I don't have to pay them until they're in their 30s, and by then they're not going to be getting no, Mahomes contract. They're going to get maybe a 10, 15, maybe a top, maybe a 10 to 15 range. No, yeah, I mean, this makes. I think this makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know people watching this are gonna and I'm gonna for sure make it so Tom Brady goes to the Vikings is gonna be the name of this episode. But but I think people are gonna. I think it's hard for us as fans who grew up watching Tom Brady to say that and knowing what he did already. He's already came out of retirement once. I mean, what's it doing twice? And to your point, he's gonna go to a good position, and he's gonna the only pushback.
And he plays in a dome. Pushback. He's gonna be in a dome, Joseph. He's gonna be in a dome for half
10 games. At least 10 games.
Yeah, at least.
Here's my pushback though. Here's my pushback. Is Tom Brady going to mend well with Kevin O'Connell? Because Kevin O'Connell seems like a guy that he wants things done his way. And Tom Brady seems like a guy, well, not seems, he is a guy that wants things done his way. How is that relationship going to mend if they don't, if they can't? I guess my thing is, how are the Vikings going to kind of mend that contact with them? And we got 2 weeks into the draft, fellas and ladies. So, we have time to kind of throw these takes out here.
Well, I'll give you this, Joseph. What if I told you Tom Brady and Kevin O'Connell were teammates once?
No, there's no way. Were they really teammates at Michigan? They're Michigan?
No, man. Kevin O'Connell played with the New England Patriots in 2008.
No way. There's no way.
There's no way. That's what they tell me, man. That's what they tell me. I'm just saying. I put a little pieces together.
Wow.
And you know who else? You want to know what else is funny? Give me this. Wow. What did we talk about in prior episodes, Joseph? What did I talk about in prior episodes? Kyle Shanahan, Mike McVay, they love their guys and they stick with them. Tom Brady was really close to signing with the 49ers just last offseason.
I literally was just gonna say that right now. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. And then with that, you can pick. They owe Justin a whole bunch of money. You can go to Justin and you can say, "Hey, we're gonna give you the greatest quarterback of all time. To make this happen, we need you to sign this type of contract."
Yeah, just do a 2-year contract. 100, maybe
like
$80 million.
I think he'll take a little less. Saying, "Hey, I'm playing with the GOAT." I do think he can say, because what did he say earlier? Early in the offseason, what did Justin say?
He said that
he's a little jealous. Yeah. He's a little jealous looking over there, his guys teaming up with each other. Like, what won't be jealous? Hey, in our during training camp, you're going to be working with this guy, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I gotta do some more digging on this, but I mean, the more you say it, the more I'm just like, I mean, if I think Brady and O'Connell have had these conversations, probably. I mean, they have for sure had these conversations. Like, hey, especially after Cousins went down, even probably before Cousins went down, because there were questions last year. They were going to trade Cousins during the offseason last year. That was one of the things that was on the radar. And I think if the Niners did not get to the NFC Championship with Purdy, Kirk Cousins is a Niner right now, and we maybe having different conversations. We may be, that screensaver behind you may be the Niners instead of the Chiefs. So I don't know.
It's not like they haven't done this before. Like this is like you gotta look at history sometimes too. Randall Cunningham was an older quarterback playing with the Vikings. He was throwing to Randy Moss, and Chris Carter like that. He was part of that group for a little bit. Then you have Brett Favre. I don't know if you remember, but he was older too, coming over
for the
and
Vikings,
playing with Sidney Rice and them. Like
Mhm.
I think it would only fit. It would only be fitting if Tom Brady came out of retirement and played for the Minnesota Vikings. And what's crazy, they were once in the same division as Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I know that for sure. Yeah, I remember that. Let's get to the next pick, which is going.
So who
to
are we
be...
giving them? If they let's say Brady's
sorry.
out of the realm, right? Who are we giving them? Are we going quarterback here? Are we going Bo Nix or Penix?
I'm saying Penix at number
Penix?
11. I think they stay at number 11 and they get Penix. I think Penix is going to be available here. Kevin O'Connell has been raving and wowing about Penix. I think he's blowing up. I think this Jason McCarthy hype is real, but I also think that he is realistic and he understands that he may not get McCarthy. I think McCarthy's going to get picked.
Unless, and then you got to understand, smoke season 2. Are they pitching all that stuff to make somebody say, hey, if we don't draft McCarthy here, we can't afford to trade down. We got to take him,
okay.
Whether it's the Giants,
let me ask you this.
Whoever it is. And then they really like Penix.
Between these last, I mean, because Drake May, Jaden Daniels,
Penix is better than McCarthy.
Yeah. Between between Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb Williams, let's move those guys aside because those are presumably the top 3 picks.
3,
right?
Yeah.
Bo Nix, Penix, and McCarthy. Let's just take it like that. Those are the last 3 guys available. Raiders pick at number 9. Raiders most likely are going to get a quarterback. That's. I'm sorry. Raiders pick at 13. Sorry, my bad. Raiders pick at 13. I believe this. The Bears probably would trade out of that pick, but they're not trading within the division, right? Right?
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be the Broncos coming up.
Yeah, so some team is going to trade up. I know some quarterback hungry team because everybody's looking at it like, hey, number 11, the Vikings, they need a quarterback. Like they're not, like they're not going to not. People aren't going to watch that and be like, yeah, we need to get in front of that team, whether it be at the number 10 spot, number 9 spot, number 8 spot. I just think that there's too much up in the air right now between this. I just don't know. I'm saying that they're going to take Penix at number 11, but I mean,
yeah, I can get behind that. He's what I have.
So at 23, what do you think they do?
Or third.
Do you think they get a receiver, or do you think they go with? Like, what do you think they do? Because I think they just need, honestly.
Yeah,
I think they need a receiver. Like Justin Jefferson cannot do it by himself, and Brian Thomas is the guy that he's
I
right
don't
there.
think there's. I feel like that's a reach, to be honest. That's just for me at this point. Even though in this mock, did he go already?
Yeah, he's a top 20 pick, right? Or top 25 pick for sure. He's going.
Oh yeah, he went 19 in this little computerized mock. He went 19.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't. If man, this one's tough because one of my favorite players in the draft is here, and they need a corner. I can't tell you the last time the Vikings had a cornerback that was really a lockdown corner.
You talking about Nate Wiggins?
Can you do the last one? Nah, man. For me, it's Cooper DeJean, dude, from Iowa.
Oh, Cooper DeJean is nice. I like him a lot. You've been on him since his freshman year. I do remember you watching those Iowa games, and I'm just like, why are you watching Iowa play?
He's really good at football.
But he's good though. He's good. I like him a lot. He is a talented guy, especially his receiving ability. When he gets the ball, he he has a chance of taking it back all the way, all the time. I feel like.
Yeah, so he's there. Um, Man, that'd be hard not to draft him, to be honest there, because they just haven't had one in a while. Like, if my memory is correct, I'm going all the way back to Winfield after he left the Bills.
Antoine Winfield from the Bills. Yeah.
Like, when's the last time
They
the
had
Vikings had a corner?
Clement.
I know I'm missing some.
Wasn't Clement over there? Nick Clement, didn't he go over there for a little bit?
Maybe,
Someone from the Eagles
but
went over there. I know it's from someone from the Eagles.
but I think that's a position of need for corner right now. They did lose Hunter, so they do need a pass rush too. So I can see them going pass rush or corner. I do think you have to go defense with this one though,
Yeah.
in my
I
opinion.
mean, I guess Xavier Ward was I forget about him, but he only
He was
had
bad,
no, he was actually one of he was like a top cornerback for like a
but he was
year.
okay. Okay,
No, he was.
but all right, that's fine.
I mean, he was like a
I
90.
agree.
He was like a
You can
90
have him.
overall on Madden.
You can
I
have him,
mean,
dude. You
I'm
can
just
have
saying.
him.
I'm
I'm
just
not
saying.
gonna fight you over Xavier Rhodes.
I'm just saying.
All right, next pick.
Let's
So
go
we're giving
next.
them. You say receiver, I say defensive lineman
Yeah,
or corner, and then the
yeah.
next
Next
one's
pick,
the Packers.
the Packers. Yeah, 25. Yeah, 25. And this team, honestly, they don't really need anyone. I mean, I would say they gotta move on from Bakhtari. Finally, he is
They
out of
already did.
the. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. They gotta. Like, finally,
Oh yeah,
he's like out the way where they don't have to, think, draft as if he's coming back. That's what they've been doing for the past three seasons actually. Um, this team is stacked. I would not be surprised if this team won 12, 13 games next year. I just wouldn't. I think this team is. They should be the favorite to win the division next year. I really do. I don't know if they are. I haven't looked at Vegas odds. Um, and I think at best, I mean, sorry, at worst, they're winning 10 games. They're a wild card. They're a first round wild card team. Um, I don't know if they need anyone on offense. I do know that they have a lot of pass rushers coming back. They have a lot of cornerbacks coming back. They don't have Jair Alexander. I don't think Alex is Jair coming back. Did he sign a contract with them? I forget. Um,
I didn't know he. I know there was rumors of him leaving, but I thought he
yeah,
stayed.
but do you think they draft offensive line? I feel like that's not really a question mark.
Yeah, on
I
PFF or
know. Yeah.
team needs on PFF are offensive line, defensive line, and safety.
I just feel like I just feel like with Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, and then they drafted another rookie last year in the first round. I forget his name. They don't really need defensive linemen, in my opinion.
So
Um,
go offensive line.
so yeah, offensive line. Maybe the mark I'm looking at right now has them taking Graham Barden out of Duke. But yeah, I think this team is pretty stacked in what they have, especially with the skill position. So I don't think them drafting a skill position would do anything for them. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'll hit on their team needs defensive line or the offensive line. I think that's where they're going to go here. Um, Honestly, I'd probably lean more on the offensive line side. So I would take somebody to solidify the line, probably Tyler Guyton if he's available.
Yeah, this pick is kind of boring. Not gonna lie for the Packers because they really haven't needed any. I mean, they every year it
They're a
seems like
good
they need
drafting
something.
team.
Yeah, and
They
it seems
draft
like
well.
and it seems like they need someone every year. But now this year their team is pretty complete. Like for the past 5 years,
Yeah.
it's been like, oh, who's gonna be the quarterback after Aaron Rodgers? Even though the Jordan Love, that was still a question mark. Now Jordan Love has kind of answered that question, with the back half year, and they're just in a position where they have a plethora of talent now, just based on their draft ability. Let's go to the Lions, 28. What do you think they should do? Because I have a different opinion of what the Mox says here. But I want to hear your first.
Team needs to go guard, center, edge, or cornerback. That's what their thing says. So I know they missed out on Sauce a couple years ago because they
Yeah,
took the lineman.
Peninsula.
Hutchinson.
Oh, Hutchinson. Sorry, that's Hutchinson Jack.
And he looks good. So I mean, it's not a miss there. I think that's a good pick for him. He really helped change the culture. So I can see a corner here. Because do you know a corner on the Lions?
Besides the guy that they got rid of,
Because somebody just got arrested, right?
they picked up the guy from the Raiders. Robertson. They picked up Amir
Oh,
Robertson.
they did get him?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's cool.
So I
would do that. And then also another thing that they could do too, Joseph, that I wouldn't be. Well, I mean, I don't know. They draft so darn well. Lately, the Lions have been hitting on draft
I
picks.
thought they need a receiver.
That's what I was thinking too.
I was
I kind of want to give him Lab McConkey.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He
is the perfect fit for this offense because Amon St. Brown is a great slot receiver, but he's too good of an outside receiver to always be in that slot receiver spot. And Lab McConkey can play on the outside too. I feel like Lab McConkey and Amon St. Brown would
I think they would dominate
well.
offensively with Jameson Williams.
Right?
Just the threat of Jameson Williams getting behind. I feel like defenses would be not knowing what to do.
And you could even move
with all those guys.
McConkey out of the backfield, in the backfield. You can. So I think, personally, I think that's a fit that I think that's to get now. Because here's my thing with drafting in the first 2 rounds, at least in the first 2 rounds, and this is just my opinion. But these are premium draft spots. I would never. Well, if I was an NFL GM, and I'm probably never gonna do that, but just saying, if I were one, I don't think I could draft a non-premium position in that first round. Like I need to hit on this pick. This pick needs to be a guy that is living in setting, is living, for my team for the next 2 years. I mean, next 10 years. And now, with that being said, there has been a lot of flunks at those premium positions, like a receiver, a quarterback, running back, and et cetera, et cetera. But I just want to take the chances on that pick. And I think Lab McConkey is the perfect fit for this offense. I just do. Him or Troy Franklin. I would say him or Troy Franklin.
Yeah, I feel like I would lean Lad for these guys.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so that would be fun.
All right, I think we're good for the NFL. We're going to get to the NBA. This will be another episode. So I'm going to say this again.
Not bad.
Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast. I'm here as your host, Joseph, here with my co-host, Zach Evans. How's it going today?
Dude, things are really great, man.
All right, we're wearing the same outfit because we literally just recorded an episode. So thank you for tuning in. This is our segment on the NBA segment. So this is just an NBA, no football talk this episode. And we're going to talk about the play-in as well as